What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the MMA Complex. My name is Josh.
I'm James.
We're back with a brand new episode. An eventful week. UFC New York 205. All the action. We're going to cover that and more. Glad to be back with you guys. James is here. And how you doing, man? How's everything going on right now? Back with the fans. Let me know what's up.
Good, man. Nothing really, man. Just work. And we both were there we went to a bar to watch 205, and it was very eventful, man. A lot of big news, a lot of talk coming out of that event. We'll get to shortly. How are you, man?
Good. I think this week was very crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have the elections going on.
Oh yeah.
Crazy times.
I know. I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think we, especially me. I felt like it was definitely very possible that Trump would get the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's still very surreal. The fact that it's actually happened, And,
yeah, only because shit hasn't hit the fan yet. I think come January when he gets into office, then we're going to see his politics come to fruition, and it's going to be scary. I'm fearful what's going to happen. Especially when he brought in, Steve Bannon. Is that his name?
I think Bannon or something.
Bannon, yeah. He's a former.
Well-known. We don't. Yeah, he's very.
He's a white supremacist.
He's pretty much a white supremacist. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. I mean, I get both sides. You know what I mean? Like I'm more obviously I'm pretty anti-Trump in terms of what he has to stand for, but. I get how people feel about his politics, and I guess some of the policies that him and at least the Republican Party kind of stand for. His is a little bit more extreme, and we don't know what we're going to get, and even the people that voted for him, I don't think even know what they're going to get, but they think they're willing to take the chance.
Mm-hmm.
And you can point the fingers at a lot of people in terms of how this happened. You could say it's all these Trump supporters and their their racist beliefs, or it's not always that way. But you can point the finger at the Democratic establishment. You could point it at Hillary and the type of campaign that she ran, with very little of any message other than I'm not as bad as the other guy, and the fact that they kind of squashed Bernie, who actually had a movement behind him. It's a lot of things. You could point out a lot of things, but either way, we're stuck with this guy for however long he's in office. He might not even make it to 4 years. Who knows? But it's a crazy time, and it's that's all. It's just a crazy time, man.
No, yeah, it is. Especially, being. I wouldn't call us minorities because we are part of the majorities in the city, especially here in LA. But just for minority groups in general, and the heat that they'll be getting, from the backlash of this, election.
Yeah, you get the fear, you know what I mean, which I think people don't want to see sometimes, and like there's a lot of protests going on in different major cities. I don't think people understand why they're out there. It's not because of the election and why they're there. They're because Hillary lost and they wanted her to win or something like that. It's more
opinions.
It's more of the fact that people are scared. Scared of the fact that somebody ran on a campaign where they would point fingers at those people or different people.
Mm-hmm.
Women in general, women too, just women in general. It's fear. It's fear, and it's also kind of a statement that they want to say that we're not like that. We're gonna fight that type of idea, that type of America. They're not gonna stand for. So I guess that's why they're out there. But people don't like to see that. People think of them as poor, sore losing liberal, democratic people or something like that.
Yeah, I think too. Media is. I think the message from the media is just hysteria and fear that they instill in us, and so it's getting to a lot of people.
Yeah, because if you watch the news, go online, I mean, you're constantly it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's hard to get away from it. So you're flooded with a bunch of different ideas and opinions and fear, and no one knows what's going to happen. So
yeah, so it's nice to take a break from all the fear and all the hysteria and all the hypocrisy that's going on, and have that escape. I mean, have MMA as an scapegoat where we kind of can get away from the madness and be united and fighting.
It didn't feel that way leading up to 205. It almost seemed like everything, because 205 was the big event that we were all waiting for, but in between that, the election happened, and I think the days leading up to 205, even the day of 205, it was still kind of hard to get away from everything that was going on.
Yeah, especially in New York, because there was protesting going on.
Yeah,
that whole time.
Yeah,
and I think it would have been a lot bigger event, more buzz if there wasn't the election happening.
Yeah,
because so many people were protesting outside,
or so many people were just preoccupied with something else.
Yeah,
like everything else was on their mind instead of just some big fighting event.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, so even it was hard for me to sit there and when the day came to even like enjoy it fully, even the build up, it was hard for me to enjoy it, to get my mind off of anything else other than what was going on. But the event was once we sat down, once we started grabbed a couple of beers and really watched the fights and seeing what was playing out. Boy, I think it was one of the best events of the year, definitely.
If not, yeah.
Yeah, I think
if not ever, as far as storylines and Conor McGregor.
Because I think one of my favorite events was like 194. I think was it 194? Conor and Chad Mendes.
Oh yeah.
That whole event in terms of the presentation, I thought was one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. And even the 198, right? Or which one was the Aldo one? McGregor. I forget what number that was.
Was it 196?
The 196? Yeah, that was another big event.
Yeah,
I really liked that one too. 200 obviously kind of fell flat. 201 was definitely a big event because of the rematch.
Yeah.
But this one, I think, definitely the New York one and the 194 of last year, I think, were the last couple of years, the two biggest events.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, not only that, it was a historic event because of the first time New York is in MS Garden, but the fact that Conor McGregor, at the end of the pay-per-view, you see him hoisting 2 belts.
Which is crazy to see, yeah.
It was pretty surreal.
Yeah.
And to look at a guy who came to the UFC and had very ambitious aspirations in the sport as far as to not only become a star, but become a world champion.
Yeah.
People weren't giving him that, the chance to even, be a contender. And his second fight, he had his own walkout music on television for a prelim fight, which was crazy in itself. Yeah. And then he said after the fight he's going to become a world champion, and he did by beating Chad Mendes and then unifying the interim bout against Jose Aldo. And then he made, saying he's gonna win 2 belts, and he did, and all that was in 3.5 years. He did all that. He's done more in 3.5 years than any other MMA fighter in the UFC has done in the UFC's 23-year existence.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and he rushed for his goals. Like, he rushed to become a world champion. He rushed to get those 2 belts, and now that he has everything, and he has pretty much all the chips on the table, and he has all the leverage in the world. Now he wants stake and ownership in the UFC, and I think that the UFC would be dumb not to play into McGregor's games.
Yeah, I think for people who don't know, he had a couple of big announcements that he was throwing out there leading up to the event, and post-event, he wins, beats Eddie Alvarez in dominant fashion, finishes him in the second, and we'll get to the performance pretty real quick. But yeah, what you were talking about, his big announcements. One was that Dee, his girlfriend, is pregnant with their first child. I think is going to be born before the summertime next year.
And when we talk shit during sex.
Probably.
And where's the crown?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put a doubt if you put it. Where's the crown?
Because when he said that, she's praying. The first thing I thought about was I envisioned with a crown on his head from behind.
So yeah, I think
King Connor.
Yeah, that was his one announcement, and the second is that he bragged about the fact that his events have been the best, most successful the past couple of years. He's brought in the most money, biggest gates, and has pretty much said that he was going to do everything that he was going to do. Get he's a 2-division champ now. Simultaneously 2-division champ, which is just insane. Beat Aldo in 13 seconds. Defeated Chad Mendes. I mean, you name it. He's done everything he said he was going to do, and I think there's in a lot of ways. Yeah, I think the UFC should come to terms with what he's asking for. No other fighter has really been able to do something like that, or even be in a position to request anything like that. He's different in a lot of ways, and I think he talked about the fact that the new people, the new owners, Ari and WME, IMG, that no one's talked to him in a business as a businessman to businessman,
which is absurd.
Yeah, that they've only talked to him, the biggest star that you have right now. They only talk to him maybe as a hello, goodbye type of thing. He wants to respect. He wants to establish himself financially for the future, and he's he's setting himself up. He's got a family to feed now, so he's got a legacy that he's already established, and he's wants to cement. So it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, and to see Connor, hoisting those 2 belts really, cemented his legacy. I think that iconic picture of him in the suit, with 2 belts is going to be a picture we're looking at in the future.
Yeah.
In this historic time when he won those 2 belts, and I think the UFC should play by his rules, because considering GSP's out, considering John Jones is out, and Ronda Rousey might be Xing the door, I think they need him more than ever. But I think one of the good things about Conor McGregor is he has options. He can fight Woodley at 170 for a 3rd belt, which is insane. He has a rematch with Nate Diaz hanging over his head. Probably can be that. I think should be the next fight, considering it's for a title. You can have that title fight with Nate Diaz, the rubber match. I think that would be huge. I think that would break 205, to be honest.
Yeah.
Considering that both fights are pretty close. Well, second fight was close. Or you can fight Mayweather, who's now in the news again with Conor.
Yeah.
And the UFC shouldn't. I don't think the UFC should strip him of that second belt. I think he's the most active fighter on the roster.
Yeah.
And to have your biggest draw compete in 2 different weight classes is huge in my opinion. I mean, the UFC wants to win that money back, so he can have him defend that 145-pound title fight, win it, and whoever fights is gonna be big, and then do it again.
Yeah. For
the 155-pound title fight, that'd be huge too. So
yeah, I think it's crazy. We've had dual champions before, but never at the same time. You had PJ Penn and Couture, and this is just every time he fights, we're wondering if he's actually gonna do it. You know what I mean? It's this for me. It's always like, I wonder if he's actually gonna do it, and then bam, he does it, and it's like, holy.
With this
crap,
fight, it wasn't a surprise. Yeah, with this fight, it wasn't a surprise.
No, we kind of felt like out of all the contenders that he has in either division, 145 or 155, this is his best style matchup. It's not like Eddie is no slouch. Eddie could easily have won if he would have fought a little bit differently, but he kind of played right into McGregor's hands. And
Conor's so long.
Yeah, and just the fight itself was just so masterful. Conor was so calm. He was, I think, the bigger man for sure, at least in stature. And he was just anytime Eddie came in, he had that left hand would just put him on his butt, man. It just every time he hit him with it. Yeah. And the finishing combination in the second was just amazing to watch, because he was hitting him at least 4 times, 5 times while Eddie was going down at an angle. You know what I mean? He was like this, going that way, and McGregor was still hitting him all the way down. Yeah. And when Eddie was on his back, people wanted to say, we both kind of thought it might have been an early stoppage a little bit, But when you really saw it in slow motion, Eddie's on his back, and you see him from the front. He's not even looking at McGregor.
He was done.
Yeah, he was done. And then you have McGregor coming down with a straight left, and it hits Eddie right flush in the face, and then sends it back, and then McGregor finishes him off with a couple more, and then by that time McCarthy steps in. So I think it was easily a good stoppage.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he survived the first round.
Yeah.
He was close to getting finished in the first round.
Yeah, he got dropped at least 2 or 3 times in the first round, which is crazy. The fight itself was masterful. It was one of, I think, McGregor's easiest fights.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the whole post fight speech at the end was just amazing. It was funny as hell and memorable.
It was.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was a total heel.
Where's my belt?
Yeah.
Where's my 2 belts?
It was a total heel promo.
Yeah, and where he goes from here, who knows? I mean, obviously he's gonna be a father next year. He wants a bigger portion of the company. He wants to be stable, to have some stability in his life, outside of fighting. Well, within the company, but that he doesn't have to fight in order to make sure he gets some stability. Wants a piece of the company. I get that. And then just based on those list of contenders, I mean, it's going to be a tough road ahead for him. I think he has a good chance against any of them. You can see where he has his chances. You have Khabib, Ferguson. You have at lightweight. You have also Diaz there too. You have at featherweight. You have Max Holloway,
Jose Aldo.
You have Jose Aldo. You have Anthony Pettis, Frankie Edgar. That's some of the toughest guys in any division. Yeah. Let alone he has to compete at 2 different divisions against some killers. So it's going to be a difficult road ahead for him. He's going to have to navigate it, but no one knows how to navigate the fight business better than Conor. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Also on the card, I mean, we have to get to the rest of the card. We could talk about Conor all day, but the rest of the card you had the co-main event Woodley against Thompson. People, there was some controversy at the end where it was a majority decision.
Mm-hmm.
But then it got reversed. It's kind of a mess up with the commission in terms of how they wrote it down. Buffer wanted to redo the announcement and really clarify that it was a majority draw, which really didn't change anything. Kind of scared Woodley a little bit.
Buffer made the mistake of saying "and still" instead of saying "majority draw."
Yeah, majority draw.
He busted a C-party.
Yeah. And then Woodley kept his title no matter what. But they're most likely going to do that fight again.
Yeah.
How did you score the fight?
Yeah, I scored it a draw. I'm giving the first round to a 10-8 for Woodley.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thompson win the 5th, I believe the 3rd, and the 4th.
No.
No,
the 2nd, 3rd,
second,
and 5th.
yeah. Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, yeah.
Yeah, and so I scored it like that too. I mean, I guess I scored it Woodley first. Just there wasn't much in the first. I think Thompson had a little bit of the edge in the stand-up. You could see Woodley gets a takedown and then kind of just controls him for the rest of the fight in that round. Thompson just kind of controlled Woodley 2nd, 3rd, and in the 4th, Thompson gets popped a couple of times. Barely survives. Even survives a guillotine. Barely survives a guillotine. We're in attendance just amazed on how he even got out of that.
Yeah.
And at the end was punching Woodley at the end, which was just crazy. So that round, I would say the 4th, I would give probably Woodley a 10-8 in the 4th, 10-9 in the 1st, and I gave Thompson 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. So I could see where, especially the 4th, how you can it weighs it enough to where it's a draw.
Yeah. Very entertaining fight.
Very entertaining fight. Probably one of the best on the card. And then also on the card you had
Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Karolina Kowalkiewicz. Right, I pronounced it, I think.
Yeah, Kowalkiewicz.
Good fight. Went all 5 rounds. Tough as hell with Karolina. But she ate a lot of shots. What do you think?
Yeah, I think she in the loss. I think she shined only because she survived Joanna's onslaught.
Yeah.
And the fourth round, she dropped Joanna and almost finished her. So I think she, in a lot of ways, she won as far as her stats. She kind of went up. The fact that she, like I said, she survived Joanna's onslaught.
Joanna was all busted up too.
Yeah, and we never seen Joanna in trouble before in a fight, and we never seen her that busted up. So I think Carolina looked good at the end, in a loss, and I think a few more fights, I think she can go back in there and rematch with one Joanna Dick Chick.
They're talking about doing a rematch. I don't think
I don't agree with an immediate rematch.
No. I don't agree with.
But there isn't any contenders in that division.
She's starting to clear out a lot of the girls in that division, but I'll still pay to see anybody against her. Really, you can put Paige in there. I don't care.
She got old.
Yeah, it was a good fight though. It was entertaining, that fight. You kind of felt like it was gonna go all 5 rounds. The Woodley fight, we felt it might end early, but that one went all 5 rounds. The Weidman and Romero one is the one that ended early, which we thought had a definite chance of ending early. And it was another bad night for Chris Weidman. Again, winning the fight the majority of it, and then getting caught with something that just, it
was unfortunate.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Happened to him in the Rockhold fight, threw some weird back kick, ended up getting taken down, dominated, and just never recovered. And same with this one. He goes for the takedown against Yoel Romero. Romero just throws that devastating knee that he always does and took him out sick. Instant blood, instant knockout. It was insane.
Yeah, that was pretty vicious. And I think, looking back at the event, there's 2 guys. Obviously Conor McGregor stole the show by winning 2 belts and the promos that he cut. But I think if you would take a second place as far as a 1A, as far as the winners of the night would be Yoel Romero and Khabib Nurmagomedov. Those 2 guys cut promos of the year. Those guys cut 2 heel promos, and for once, I think Michael Bisping is going to be coming to that fight as a uber babyface and having Yoel Romero come in as a heel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Yoel Romero's heel promo at the end was.
It was great.
One of the best of the year.
Yeah.
Same with Khabib's, and those 2 guys really shine. Where you look back with Tony Ferguson, and he had the opportunity to cut a promo and to get that next fight with Conor. He didn't take advantage of it. You look at that title fight. Khabib has to be the next guy.
Yeah.
Ferguson, he messed up. He didn't take the opportunity.
Yeah.
And no matter what Ferguson says, I don't want the belt and I don't want money. That Conor McGregor's a lottery ticket, man. To get paid, to get the attention, and to get a title fight. The fact that Tony Ferguson didn't take advantage of that, he's out of the picture now. I think Khabib's the guy. Khabib made some noise, and same with Yoel Romero. That promo that he cut, and having the Bisping, Bisping giving the finger.
Yeah,
that's a fight you got to make now. And these guys continue to take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah,
these missed opportunities that other guys don't take advantage of.
Yeah, with the Yoel Romero fight, I was afterwards. I was like, oh man, Bisping's gonna have a hard time.
Bisping's gonna get his.
He's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
But then looking at the fight and thinking about it a little bit, you had Weidman that was having a lot of success mixing it up against Yoel. It kind of shut down Yoel in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
From his attacks. And Bisping is very good at staying active. We know he has a cardio, and as long as he can avoid any real big shots, he can really confuse Yoel in terms of stopping him from making any big sudden attacks, which Weidman was able to do: kicks, knees, punches, takedown attempts. Bisping's very good at that, staying active. So I think even if Bisping gets hit with something and can survive, I can see Bisping, if it goes the distance, having a good chance of beating Yoel by decision at least. If it ends early, I'll probably give it to Yoel.
Yeah, that and the fact that Yoel's a big guy, and as the rounds go on and on, he all that muscle becomes a factor in the fight. He has to all that muscle he carries needs oxygen, and so I can see him tiring out in the later rounds.
He looks so big too.
Yeah, and championship fights at 5 rounds. So Michael Bisping already has experienced 5 rounds.
Yeah,
and he has. The movement and the variety of attacks that can stop, not maybe stop, but slow down one Yoel Romero. But that's a fight you got to both next is
Yeah.
Romero and Michael Bisping. The heat's there, and I think Michael Bisping is going to be the babyface coming to that fight and excuse the wrestling terms.
And I for sure, I wouldn't even say that Khabib's chances of getting the title shot are that certain. I could see the UFC forcing Khabib and Ferguson to face off.
I think they're going to have to, because if Conor McGregor won't fight for a very long time, I mean, that division needs to continue on.
Yeah. And
someone needs to be like a defending interim champion.
Yeah. And then Max Holloway's fighting Pettis, right, soon?
Yeah.
Right? So
the next one. In
Canada. Aldo's without somebody. He could do the Aldo match.
I think the one in between Pettis and Holloway fights Jose for the interim title.
Mm-hmm. So they'll take care of that division for now.
And have Ferguson and
Khabib fight. They'll take care of that
division
for
now. The fact that Khabib's 23-0,
yeah,
undefeated in the UFC and then undefeated in MMA is remarkable.
It is.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, that gives Conor enough time to sort things out with the UFC, fatherhood, all that stuff, and then set up a big matchup with either contender or title holder, like Aldo, or maybe even that third Diaz fight. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or maybe even a Woodley fight, which would be kind of crazy.
It would be crazy if he fights Khabib or Ferguson and whoever in the featherweight. Imagine he loses 2 bouts.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be heartbroken.
But I mean, either way, his legacy is cemented.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
He'll be the first.
Whatever happens from here on out.
I don't think we'll ever see that in our lifetime. I don't think we'll see a UFC fighter hold 2 belts from 2 different divisions. I think Conor's gonna go down as the only person to do it. Yeah,
because I couldn't.
I don't think Dana White would allow it. That's what I'm saying. Or the UFC would allow it.
The only person who I say can probably do it is John Jones.
Yeah, but that's if the UFC allows him to do it.
That's if he allows himself to even get that far.
John Jones is... he's out for a year, and maybe more once the Nevada State Commission kind of slams the hammer on him. Who knows how long he'll be out for. But
yeah, because I always felt like he's got the light heavyweight on lock when he comes back, for sure. Hopefully. I mean, we don't even know now, just based on his time off. But I always thought the heavyweight division, he was big enough to compete with those guys. It's
definitely an attainable bout that he can get.
I think both of them.
Yeah.
I think he's the only other guy that can probably do it.
He doesn't have the charisma and the style that Conor does.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we're going to stay on 205 for right now because it did dominate the headlines. I'm sorry. Bellator also competed too. Yeah, Douglas Lehman defeating Krishka for the welterweight title, which was a big event. But just based on the sheer magnitude of 205, you kind of have to stay on 205. And the fact that, Miesha Tate lost her fight against Raquel Pennington, and she announced her retirement from the sport, which is very interesting, unexpected. What did you think about that when that happened?
I'm not really surprised. I mean, back when she couldn't get that bantamweight title, she was talking about retirement, and anytime a fighter even mentions it, I think it's going to be in the back of their minds to, their time is coming up. Mm-hmm. The fact that she took so much damage in the last 2 fights, and the fact that she's 30 years old, still in her prime, but she probably wants to have babies and get married and do all that stuff. So I think her legacy cemented. I think she's a pioneer in women's mixed martial arts. She won the Strikeforce women's bantamweight title, and then she jumped to Ronda, but then she came back and she won the UFC titles. She won 2 titles in two major promotions. Yeah, and she's a pioneer in the sport. And I think her legacy is cemented as one of the greatest women's bantamweight. I think she's done all she can do in mixed martial arts, and I think she's smart to get on when she's so young and her health's still intact. Yeah,
I think so too. I agree. I mean, she Strikeforce title. Big name throughout the sport, even in mainstream, she's well known.
Yeah.
UFC champ. She had big rivalries. One of the biggest faces of women's MMA.
She was a coach on Tough too.
Yeah, tough coach. She's been around for so long. Still relatively young, very young. She's in her early 30s now, maybe 30 years old, barely.
Yeah.
It's a good time. If she feels like she wants to get out, she can always come back. but I think I agree with you. I think she wants to pursue other things. I think she's done everything in fighting. Everything would just be rematches now or fighting young contenders. And she's a very good commentator, analyst on Fox, and she could go that route.
She has a podcast, the Mr. Tate Show.
She has her podcast. She's been mentoring and coaching assistant coaching a lot of fighters. I think the broadcasting portion is probably the next step for her.
Yeah. She's done movies too, so
she's done some movies. I would say the best probably avenue for her is most likely going to be the broadcasting side.
And coaching prospects.
And coaching prospects. So coaching and the broadcasting, I think, is where her future is going to lie.
Yeah.
And also the babies and her home life, I think, is something that she's probably thought about. So it was unexpected. It's sad to see someone like that go because it's Miesha Tate and she's still relatively young. And,
I'm going to miss her weigh-ins.
Yeah. She's always one of the best-looking females ever, you know what I mean? In MMA.
She's so hot.
Very nice person. But, we're glad to have, been there from... I remember watching her from the early on in her career, so we've kind of grown with Miesha in terms of her career.
We interviewed her too.
Yeah. She's been on the show before. But yeah, that's pretty much 205 in a nutshell.
Let's talk about Frankie Edgar, man. Frankie Edgar and Jeremy Stephens.
Frankie Edgar, Jeremy Stephens. It's hard to say. I mean, the fight was good. It was a good fight. Frankie did what he needed to do against a much bigger guy. I never realized that Stephens was going to be that much bigger.
He impressed me for the size difference and the fact that Frankie Edgar recently announced that he might drop down to bantamweight.
Yeah,
and I think that would be a good move for him. I think. I don't know though because I see Dominic Cruz beating Frankie Edgar too.
That's tough. That's a tough task there, especially the weight cut and the fact that Dominic's the king of the mountain there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good idea.
It's gonna be interesting though.
I think him and Connor. I don't know. But Frankie Edgar is surprisingly one of those guys who's been there for years and he's still very relevant in the game.
Yeah. A lot happened over the weekend. UFC finally had an event in New York. I think they're going to come back later on this year, right?
For Brooklyn, and then come back to MSG next November.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they came to New York in an unfortunate time when the post-election madness is going on.
Yeah, which could have overshadowed it even more, but I think they did okay. Yeah. I think they did okay. So thanks to Connor.
Yeah.
If it wasn't Connor there, they would have been completely forgotten about.
The ship would have sank, like you said.
Yeah, the ship would have sank. Yeah. But we have what we're going to get into right now is just a fight picks for this coming weekend. A lot of big fights, a lot of things happening, a lot of fights. So you have first off, we're going to get to Invicta FC 20, Evanger versus Kunitskaya. That's in Kansas City, Missouri. Only on UFC Fight Pass.
Why is it in Kansas and not LA? I don't know.
I wish it was in LA, West Coast, man. It's on Friday night. Invicta only on UFC Fight Pass. It's Tanya Evanger against Kunitskaya, who she is not Asian. She is like Russian.
Is that same girl that fought Cyborg?
Yeah, I think so. Is it? You have a lot of if you follow Invicta at all, this card is pretty stacked in terms of some of the well-known names. You have Stephanie Egger. You have
Amber Brown.
On
the show before.
You have Herika Tiburcio. You have Angela Hill defending her strawweight title against Kayleen Medeiros. And you have Tanya Evanger in the main event.
Co-main and main event?
Yeah, let's do co-main and main event. I'm gonna go with Angela Hill to retain her strawweight title. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like Angela Hill. She's looked like a competent fighter coming into the Invicta promotion, and she's looked dominant. She's with the Alliance in San Diego, and I can see her retaining her title.
Yeah, I think so too. Against Kayleen, I think Kayleen is a very tough opponent, but I can see Angela Hill with her all-around skills and her new improved skills. I think is going to do really well. Tanya Evanger against Yana Kunitskaya. Who do you have?
I like Tanya Evanger. She's a pioneer, also in women's mixed martial arts, and she's a strong wrestler. She has good striking, and I can see her actually dominating this fight and retaining her title.
Yeah, she's a very strong wrestler. I think I would see her going to that game plan for sure.
And then doing a 40 after the fight.
Yeah. And you have 2 UFC cards this weekend, UFC 199 and UFC Fight Night 100. 99 is from Northern Ireland. That is with Uriah Hall and Gegard Mousasi in the main event. We'll just pretty much go with just the main event. Who do you have for this one? Uriah Hall versus Gegard Mousasi.
I like Mousasi in this fight. I think up to the point where before he got knocked out, I think Mousasi was winning that fight pretty convincingly. I can see him not making the same mistake twice, dominating Uriah Hall in the grounding department and winning the decision.
I think so too. I'm going to go with Mousasi. I think he's in the last time he was caught, so I think it'll be a different story this time around. The rest of the card, you have Ross Pearson, you have Artem Lobov, you have Ian McCall finally getting a fight against Neil Seery. That should be a good one. That's on UFC Fight Pass from Northern Ireland this Saturday. Also, on the same day, you have Bader versus Nogueira, and that's on UFC Fight Pass and FS1. It's from Sao Paulo, Brazil.
That's a weird fight.
Yeah, that's a weird fight. Bader is going into this fight thinking that if he gets past Nogueira, that he's in line next after Johnson for a title shot, which I'm not sure how that.
Yeah. Sorry, Bader.
Really good card on this one. You have Talis Latis on there. You have Claudia Gadelha on there. You have Thomas Almeida versus Albert Moraes on there. But we'll just, again, stick with the main event. Bader versus Nogueira. Who do you have?
I like Ryan Bader. I think Nogueira is in his career. I think Bader is a stronger wrestler, and he has punch power as well. So I can see him beating Nogueira.
I'm going to go with Nogueira. No, I'm not going to go with Nogueira. I'm going to go with Bader.
Yeah.
I think Bader has enough to defeat Nogueira, and I don't think Nogueira is going to have much of an answer for what Bader has in terms of his wrestling and his punching power. Then you have Bellator 165 from San Jose, California, Chandler versus Henderson. Really good card. We'll go. We could go for the whole card on this one. Yeah, why not? Some interesting fights on here. I list a couple of them. With Carrie Ann Melendez. Gilbert Melendez's wife is fighting against Sheila Padilla. Brandon Gertz versus Anna Puccialotti. But we'll go from this fight on up. Francis Carmon versus Linton Vassell. Who do you have?
I like Francis Carmon in this fight. I think his striking's excellent, and I can see him maybe finishing this fight on his feet. I'm gonna go with
Linton in this fight. Been on the show before.
Oh, he has.
I think it's a tough fight for either one of them.
It's a close fight, yeah.
Yeah, it's a close fight. I'm gonna go with Lynn. Why not? Fernando Gonzalez versus Michael Page.
Oh, I like MVP in this fight. He's a very nice guy in person. He's a beast in the cage, and I can see him doing some kind of flashy knockout.
I'm gonna go with Michael Page too. It's hard to bet against that guy. Michael Chandler versus Benson Henderson for the lightweight title.
We've seen Benson Henderson struggle with that 155-pound weight cut. I think Chandler has always been one of the top lightweights in the world, not in the UFC, and I can see Chandler beating Benson Henderson fairly easy.
I think so, dude. Based on his performances, based on how he is in terms of the weight cut, we know he's not always the most pleasant person to be around during the because he's still nice, but yeah, he doesn't have much to say. Yeah. He's suffering during that time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Chandler all the way. I think just based on the performances that we've seen of Benson Henderson as of late, it hasn't impressed me, and it's almost worried me most of the time, especially going against top division guys. Chandler for sure on this fight to retain or keep his lightweight title. You also, just a notable mention, you have Kevin Ferguson Jr. finally making his debut.
Right.
And that's all for this weekend. And that's the show. We want to thank you guys for listening, watching on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Also, go to themmacomplex.com and check out our Hollow Rock sponsor. Go to hollowrockgear.com. Promo code COMPLEX15 for 15% off.
Yeah, you can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James, JAYMZ. You can follow him on Twitter, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at the MMA Complex. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fights this weekend, so stay home, get some food. It's UFC, Bellator. And Josh and I are going to recap all the action for you guys next week. So until then, enjoy the fights and enjoy your week.